Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the It Factor, blessing the airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and soul. Energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
SBTV Nation, it is Monday, December 5th. Time to get out of your seat and welcome your boys back as we introduce you to Monday Morning Quarterback. I'm in the house, I'm the Dream, and I'm kicking it with my boy, the Mad Hatter. What's going on?
What's up, man? How you feeling after NFL football Sunday yesterday?
Hey, I'm feeling really good. Really sad that I didn't make the show yesterday. Tried to get on, but we had some technical difficulties, and because I am on so much and Dr. Dan is not, figured I'd give you guys a little splash of the Dizzle and his perspective on the weekends. But before we get into that, I do want to send a shout out to Chris Lopez, Rick Lopez's son. Yesterday had his first martial arts tournament and absolutely killed it.
Nice.
Congratulations, came in. He's first tourney, first place and second place finishes, and Rick Lopez is really proud of his kid, and we are at the SBTV Nation always proud of any young man out there, you know, trying to make himself better and reach a high level, and congratulations to Chris Lopez on his martial arts tournament yesterday.
Oh, fantastic. That's really nice, Dream. So, anyway, it was a stellar day yesterday. Everything I talked about came to form, luckily for myself. Big comeback from college football on Saturday.
College football, I did not have a chance. I didn't get on yesterday. I didn't really have an opportunity to talk about college football, even though the plays given out on Saturday morning were boom banging.
Well, speak for yourself. Mine weren't
Okay.
that good, but you know what? I came back with a vengeance yesterday. So,
Okay.
But it is what it is, and we will talk about the college football playoff. We'll talk about the bowl games a little later on in the show. As
Okay.
first thing we got to do is talk about what went down yesterday in the NFL, and we got a big game tonight as well. So, let's start right off and have Monday Morning Quarterback and have a discussion about what went down yesterday, Dream. First place I'm going to start is the Atlanta Falcons lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. This Chiefs team keeps winning, Dream.
The Chiefs team keeps winning. It is. I like the Chiefs, okay?
Okay.
I like the way they go about it. They're defensively sound. But their offense just, for me, is just, I just watch it and I struggle with believing that they're any better than they were last year, where you know they got beat in the second round of the playoffs. I just see the same thing happening once again this year, because to me, they're not even that drastically improved from last year. To me, they're exactly the same, and if not, maybe a tad bit worse.
Well, you know what? They did hold. I mean, Matty Ice still did have 297 yards through the air.
No doubt.
But a lot of that was in a comeback effort.
Yep.
And I had him actually in one of my daily fantasy lineups where if he performed the way he usually did,
Sure.
I would have been a monster, because I had like everybody working except for him. He had like 7 fantasy points going in the fourth quarter. I'm like, dude, what am I dealing with here with Matty Ice? But sure enough, I mean, Julio Jones got injured in that game, Dream. He's out for a little bit.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why would you go with Matty Ice against Kansas City's defense?
Because you got Atlanta at home on the turf.
Okay, so how'd that work out for you? Not good, huh?
Well, you know what? I mean, he still ended up with some decent points,
I
but
got
you know,
you.
because he had 297 yards. But you know what? It was between him, Stafford, and Breezy, and I ended up choosing him overall. So,
Okay.
but you know, and his value was a little bit less because he was going against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. But go ahead. Finish
After
up on this
seeing
game.
Kansas City's defense last week against Denver, you know, I was really impressed with what they were able to do against the Denver Broncos. Out of those 3 choices, though, if those were the only 3 choices you had, then I probably would have went in that direction as well, based on those 3. I think that's the right. You know what? I would have tried with Breezy, which was not better.
No.
Actually, a lot worse. So good call by you going with Matty Ice. Kansas City, good team. I feel like they're going to get beat in the playoffs.
9-3 on the year, 5-2 away, Dream. They're getting it done on the road. They are, because their style of football will work. I think their style of football is comfortable anywhere. Some football teams, their style of football is comfortable mainly in their house, or I should say more effective in their house than on the road. Kansas City's style of football, to me, is effective wherever they go, because it starts first on the defensive side of the ball, and then the offense assists it. Yes, exactly. But you know what? Hey, they're 9-3 right now. They're in the driver's seat as far as the wild card situation is concerned, because they're still one game back from the Raiders, who the Raiders continue to winning. But we'll talk about that momentarily as we move on to, what we were talking about, Breezy, and we were talking about Matthew Stafford. And sure enough, the Lions go into the Superdome and beat the New Orleans Saints, hold them to 13 points, Dream. This is a little bit of an impressive win. This is their first win where they were not trailing in the fourth quarter.
Well, I don't really care about them not trailing in the fourth quarter. What I do think is impressive out of them is the way their defense played. Their defense was absolutely stellar yesterday against a seriously potent. Listen, Drew Brees and the Saints can effectively move the ball, especially in their house, against any defense as far as I'm concerned. And what the Lions defense were able to accomplish yesterday in the Superdome, in Drew Brees' house. Now, yeah, the Saints might have been off a little bit. I didn't watch a lot of this game. I did watch some of it. Didn't watch a lot of this game. But, to do what they did against the Saints. Now, the one thing I will say about this game, the Saints were on the cusp of getting this game under control. They had a third and 8 situation late in the fourth quarter, and they call an all-out blitz. And if their cornerback just stays in the vicinity of the Detroit Lion player, just to knock the ball out, because Stafford just goes back and just throws the ball up like in the sky. You know what I mean? It was like one of those, I'm about to get sacked, I'm just going to get rid of the ball. And sure enough, if you saw the play, the New Orleans Saints player, it looked like he just assumed that his defense was going to get the sack and kind of slowed down running the route with the receiver. He also felt he had help over the top and back of him. Dude, the ball got placed right in between the two of them. That's when Golden Tate ran. I think Tate took it in for a touchdown, and game was over on that play.
Well, Drew Brees, he had 3 interceptions with no touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah.
None. And you know what? Their Achilles heel yesterday was the fact that they could not rush the ball to save their lives. They only had 50 rushing yards on the day.
Yeah.
That was it. So big ups to the Detroit Lions, who are 8-4 now. And Dream, this team is in cruise control as far as their division lead.
There's just some teams in the NFL that it doesn't really matter what their records are.
Okay.
You just know that at the end of the day, and when these playoffs come about, if certain teams are there, a la Kansas City, and now we go to Detroit, you just know that they're not, I don't feel like they're just going anywhere.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? Hey, we've said that time and time again, and sure enough, sometimes in the playoffs, there's that upset that nobody sees coming. So
there is that upset nobody sees coming, but for the most part, when you get to the Super Bowl, the two teams, I shouldn't say all the time, most of the time, the two teams you kind of think would had the best chance to get in there usually end up there.
All right, got it. So moving on here, Dream. Let's talk about the next game that's on my radar that I want to discuss, and that is the New England Patriots, who laid the smacketh down on the Rams, and Jeff Fishbone gets his 2-year extension, even though he's only had like 5 winning seasons and 22 seasons as a head coach.
That's awesome.
The Rams scored 10 points in this game. The Patriots had a great defense as far as fantasy was concerned, and you know what? Without Gronkowski, they still find enough targets and make it work. And I've been talking about Chris Hogan, and he had some good numbers yesterday, Dream.
Chris Hogan had good numbers. Congratulations to Tom Brady. Just one more accolade to add to his long list of accolades and put him in the conversation of the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, I don't care what you guys say. you got to talk about Brady being the best quarterback to play the game because it is what it is. He's been there a long, long time. They've had a great deal of success, multiple Super Bowl wins, multiple regular season accomplishments. I mean, you can go on for days with the list of the accomplishments that he's been able to, accomplish. I know a lot of people want to say, well, he's a product of the system, blah, 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 blah. I don't care what you say because when you go into the list of great quarterbacks, all right, generally, you talk about a really good running back that was involved with them, or a great running back that was involved with them, and you talk about a great wide receiver that was involved with them, or maybe a couple of great tight ends. You put a great bunch of other players in cast around the great quarterbacks. When you go Montana, you talk about Rice, you talk about Roger Craig, you talk about some of those guys. You go Roger Starbuck, you talk about Tony Dorsett, you talk about Emmitt Smith. I mean, not Emmitt Smith with Roger Starbuck, but Emmitt Smith with Troy Aikman. But what I'm getting at is, with Tom Brady outside of Randy Moss, all right? And Randy Moss didn't play a lot with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's done it with nobody's around him.
Well, that's the thing. He makes everybody around him great.
That's what I'm saying. And when you think about that for a minute, you got to fall back. And I know I don't love Brady either. I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He rubs you the wrong way, the supermodel wife or whatever. And he's kind of got that bizarre, I don't know, something about him that snobbish, I don't know, playboyish rich guy. He's got something about him that you just don't like. I get that. But when you talk about his accomplishments and you talk about the people and the cast and crew and players that he's had assembled around him, dude, one of the best of all time. I'm sorry. Yeah,
definitely. I agree with you because, I mean, even you take a receiver like Malcolm Mitchell, who has 8 receptions for 82 yards. I mean, who saw that? Julian Edelman was obviously the leading receiver of the day, but I mean, he's got James White, he's got Chris Hogan, he's spreading the ball out amongst all these guys.
And you know what? It for years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so it's almost like, who do you double up? You can't. And believe it or not, Martellus Bennett did not have a great day yesterday. Only 2 receptions for 4 yards, Dream.
I think he's still a little bit banged up, too. I don't think that Marcellus Bennett is 100% as far as physicality
I agree with you. He might have been more of a decoy yesterday.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, hey, listen, you know what? The New England Patriots win and cover the spread, and myself and the Evil Genius were both on them yesterday.
Yeah, how could you not be? I mean, if you weren't on them, I don't know, maybe you listened to the old wise tale about an underdog with double digits in the NFL, because that's one of those wise tale stories, too.
I agree.
But put that to rest right now when it comes to the New England Patriots. And the Patriots are primed again, and I hate saying this because, of course, the Cowboy fans are just out of the woodwork, coming at me all the time on Twitter, out in public, everywhere. I know you're 11-1. Patriots are the team to beat still. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
All right.
Moving on here, I thought that this game would be a little bit tighter than this, and the Broncos go into Jacksonville, get it done. Jacksonville Dream is 2-10. Lose 20-10.
Hat?
Yes.
The Broncos got issues, player.
Talk to me about your Denver Broncos.
They're not. Wait, stop. They're not my Denver Broncos.
Come on.
I like them because Peyton Ball was last year. Yep. And they should be on the phone with Peyton Ball right now saying, hey, do you think you can suit up till we can get Simeon healthy?
Yeah.
Because, dude, I don't know what happened to Paxton Lynch from preseason to now. Oh, they got if they don't get Simeon healthy, the Broncos got problems.
Well, they still get the job done yesterday. They're still an 8-4 team.
They got the job done because of their defense and because they played the Jags.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Which I know everybody's in a love affair with this Jag team, but I think that relationship is now terminated.
Oh, I 100% believe that. Because there's no way.
Right?
I mean, you began pounded with them.
I hope you put the termination on that relationship and do not give her a ring. But the Broncos got very lucky. Their defense stepped up seriously big like that defense is capable of. But I could tell you right now, Paxton Lynch at the quarterback position was absolutely dreadful, Hat.
Well, I can tell you this much, that I would not buy your playoff tickets for the Denver Broncos quite yet. Because they got to play at the Tennessee Titans, which they got a pretty good shot of winning that game. But then, Dream, listen to this.
Go.
They got the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Raiders to close out their season.
Yeah, tough.
That is going to be brutal. So, you know what? Hey, you know what? It is what it is, but I don't think that they will. I think this Denver Broncos team might be on the outside looking in, to be honest with you.
However, when you talk about that last bunch of teams, the real team that they have to beat would probably be Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And that would flip-flop them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're going to play at the Chiefs.
Yeah, I know.
It sucks for them.
I know. I didn't say it was going to be easy.
Yeah, exactly. So,
if they move forward with Paxton Lynch, they could just wrap it up.
Big play for us yesterday was the Green Bay Packers, and they ended up emerging and getting the job done. And it was a stomach ache for a while. Going into the fourth quarter, we're 7-7, Dream.
Terrible stomach ache. Very bad stomach ache. Weather conditions were abysmal. They didn't look great. Aaron Rodgers and that hamstring injury is 3 years old.
Sure.
That's a nagging hamstring injury that keeps coming back to haunt him. And I know that they still have some life. I don't think I believe in Green Bay anymore, especially, I would say I still had belief in them going into last week against Philly. I still had belief that they were a good team. But with Aaron Rodgers' injury, to me, I don't know how they can move forward because he is the only person that's keeping that team afloat. And with him not being 100%, it's going to be very hard for them to finish off this season and go into the playoffs with any type of momentum.
I think they still got a pretty good shot at getting into the playoffs.
Do you?
To be honest with you. I mean, let's take a look at their schedule and see what you got coming up here. So we're talking about the Green Bay Packers. So let's have a conversation real quick. I'm pulling it up right now. Dream.
Seattle.
Scores, we've got they got Seattle, but it's in the tundra.
Loss.
They got to go to the Bears.
Win.
They could probably win that game. They got the Vikings at home. And then they have to go.
I don't know whether the Vikings is a win or not because the Vikings that I saw, the Vikings were only 2 points worse than the Dallas Cowboys, so they're pretty good.
And then they have to go to the Detroit Lions. So, hey, listen, anything could happen here.
As tough, I see 2-2.
Okay.
What do you think?
That would make them an 8-8 team. And you know what? The New York Football Giants and the Washington Redskins will probably emerge as far as playoff contenders and wild card situations. So looking at the rest of it here, the Cincinnati Bengals finally getting an impressive win. This Philadelphia Eagles team on the road is one of the worst in football, Dream.
Well, one thing about the Eagles, Monday night, and I'm too bad that I missed the show yesterday because I happened to like Cincinnati a little bit. I didn't love them, but I liked them a little bit. The thing that stuck out to me about the Philadelphia Eagles though, on Monday night, just decimated with injuries.
Sure. 1-6 on the road.
Sure, along with their woes, just decimated with injuries. I know they were limping into this game, and of course, you don't ever really love the Cincinnati Bengals, especially based on how they played this season. But the Eagles showed on Monday night that it was putrid. I actually picked up Cincinnati's defense for my fantasy team, which did not do a whole hell of a lot of help to me because, unfortunately, I had Drew Brees at the helm, but. I thought that Philly would lose this game. I thought Cincinnati probably would find a way to win. I didn't think Cincinnati was going to win quite like that, but impressive win by them. And they are getting a tad bit healthier, even though they didn't have A.J. Green, but they look like they had a little bit more fight to them yesterday than I've seen them with so far.
Yeah, I get it. I had them in fantasy too, and in the first half it was looking dope because they were shutting them out.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, my points kept going down and down because they were letting up a couple of touchdowns that meant nothing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You know what? Hey, it happened, Dream. It is what it is. And I called this yesterday. I didn't think it would be a beatdown like this, though.
No, I didn't.
My Miami Dolphins get smoked by the Baltimore Ravens. Dream, we have seen this matchup now for, like a decade? And the Baltimore Ravens always piss on the Dolphins.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I thought you were talking about you didn't see the beatdown of the Cincinnati Bengals to the Eagles. As far as the Miami Dolphins hat.
Yeah, I know.
You in that nasty Dolphin team that I can't stand right now.
Oh, I know. Well, you know what, Dream? We've seen, the Baltimore Ravens have just beaten them down every time they played. Going back to the playoffs a few years ago. And, we've seen this time and time again. This Baltimore Ravens team just has the Miami Dolphins number.
The Dolphins are the worst 7-4 or 7-5 now team to ever play in the NFL.
I don't know about that. 10-16, baby. 10-16.
I hate this team. Listen. It's got nothing to do with you, obviously I respect you're a Dolphin fan, so I gotta give you a little bit of a break. But this team, because I just hate a team that wins and is giving you the facade that they're good. And I watch them, and they're hiding all their. Here's my problem with them. Next year you come back because I still think that Tannehill sucks. Okay. So my thing is, this season right now, he's bought himself more time at the helm at quarterback. So that means you go forward into next year with this bum quarterback again, and because he's managed to fake you out and think that he can get the job done, and that's where and now you're going to have a whole nother season of distress.
Well, I did talk about it yesterday. Baltimore is one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. And I had a feeling that Ajayi was just going to kind of, they were going to hold him and contain him. And sure enough, they held him to 61 yards. And I felt that it was going to force Tannehill into some bad situations. So, I was looking at the game, and like I said, I didn't expect it to be 24-0 at the half or 38-6 as a final score. But I had a feeling that the Ravens were going to win the game. And sure enough, they did. I did count this as one of the Miami Dolphin losses in the 10-6 record, Dream. So
all right,
that's where I'm at with
that. And what do you got them doing with 8 of the Zizzer next?
I got them beating Arizona next week.
Okay.
Yeah, but they got to go to the Jets. They got to go to the Bills, and we'll see what happens at the last game of the season if the New England Patriots sit everybody. That's where we're at as far as
this Dolphin team. I'm just telling you, I don't think they're good by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think Tannehill's a good quarterback, and his success this season so far is just going to prolong. You guys are going to go into next year positive, saying, we're making that one next step, the next level. I can hear all that already. And have an abysmal season next year because you still have the cancer of Tannehill at quarterback.
All right. Well, speaking of a cancerous situation as far as quarterback is concerned, let's move right over to the 1-11 San Francisco 49ers. Your boy Kaepernick had a historically bad game. He had he was sacked more times than yards thrown, Dream. He had 4 yards through the air and 5 sacks.
I actually thought that the 49ers, believe it or not, I thought that the 49ers had the ability to win this game.
Oh, wow.
I thought that they could win this game. And this is one of the games that I'm glad I wasn't on the air yesterday because I would have said, and I'm not going to lie, I'll tell you guys the truth because you know how I am.
Yeah.
I thought the Niners, I thought that they could beat the Bears. I did, based on what I had seen out of them prior to coming in. I mean, they played Miami really tough, even though I do think Miami stinks. They played Miami tough, and I thought they'd be able to play the Bears just as tough, and I thought they'd have some success. Of course, I do think that the weather conditions had a lot to play in this particular game. Snowy field, cold. Kaepernick was absolutely terrible, and everybody's entitled to an off day. But the craziest thing about Kaepernick that I got to tell you, and you've been playing with fantasy, so you probably know this. The last 4 weeks, Kaepernick's been one of the top fantasy quarterbacks in the NFL, which is absolutely crazy. So when you add that additive to it, and guys, I hate listen, I don't like Kaepernick. I think he's an awful quarterback, and I don't like the whole other thing he's doing. I can't stand it. Can't stand it. Whatever. So I don't think I'm by any means tooting his whistle, but fantasy-wise, he has been one of the top quarterbacks in the last few weeks. So I thought between his legs, because the legs open up everything for them, between his legs and the Bears, I mean, the Bears are not a good defensive team or offensive team.
They're not a good offensive team, but they're not bad defensively, believe it or not.
Well, okay, so then, why are they 3-9?
Because they can't score. That's why, Dream. But you know what?
They're not stopping their other teams from scoring on them.
Well, you know what? Hey, I mean, bright spot for them was Jordan Howard yesterday, who I had on my fantasy team, man. He had 3 touchdowns with 117 yards.
Jordan Howard was dope. I still don't think when you say, I think, even though Miami, I think, stinks, I think Miami is a pretty decent defensive team. The Bears,
You really don't think so?
I don't. Who's dope on the Bears defense?
All right, hold on one second. Let's pull up the defensive stats for the Chicago Bears because I'd like to see, because I remember them having some pretty damn good rankings as far as that was concerned.
Okay.
As far as their defense. So just pulling it up real quick to see what the Chicago Bears are doing, how they're performing defensively as far as yards per game. And Dream, they're number 7 in the NFL. 326 yards, and they allow 22.5 points per game, but 326 yards makes them 7th.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad, actually, considering. I would never have thought that they were that good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, going back to the Minnesota game. Remember we were talking about them in the Minnesota game?
True.
But then when you look at them offensively, number 16th. So, it is what it is, but they get it done, and they beat the hell. I mean, did you see Chip Kelly in the post game? I mean, he just looks like he's lost.
Well, Chip, by the way, your old spot is wide open right now. Your old stomping grounds is wide open. Why don't you do everybody a favor, take your ass back to Oregon, and let the 49ers move on? They should get rid of this team. Move on. I can't even talk about him.
Let's move on to a game where I called the over, and sure enough, it was a stomachache in the first half. And then they blew it wide open in the second half. The Bills lose to the Raiders 38-24, Dream. So there was 62 points scored in this game. And the under-over was 48.5.
Raiders in San Diego seem to love to have overs.
Yes.
It's been a great trend that's been going on. San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders as well. Okay, let me talk about the Oakland Raiders for a minute. A lot of people, the love affair that you have with the Jaguars, and I did hear a little bit of the love affair with the Raiders. This love affair is, I'm now in love as well.
Okay.
I really like this Raider team. Listen, at the beginning of the season, I wasn't feeling them that much. Carr wasn't kind of really doing it for me. Crabtree, I knew he was a Niner, not really successful, never worked out to fruition. Dude, the Raiders and Jack Del Rizzo. Okay, don't really love Jack Del Rizzo, even though I think Florida might have wished they put Luke Del Rizzo in the game.
I wish Luke Del Rizzo got a couple of snaps in the Florida game.
Luke Del Rizzo might have wanted a couple of snaps in the Florida game. He's awful too. But anyway, listen, I really like this Raiders team. I'm really impressed by this Raiders team. And the thing that I like about the Raiders team is they're doing it very, very quietly.
Yeah.
And that's why I happen to like what I see out of them. And I know they're going to hate this when I say this. I like what I see out of the Raiders more than I like what I see out of the Cowboys. That's just my personal opinion. But the Raiders are very quiet about it. You see adversity in their game. See, that's the thing that bothers me about Dallas. Outside of this Minnesota game, you don't see a lot of, to me, I think Dallas just kind of coasted through most of their games. Yeah, they had that Steeler game, which was a little bit rough, but for the most part, it seems like they coasted and, had that kind of easy go at it. The Raiders, you see chaos right out of the beginning of the gate with them. Like, losing immediately, things look like it's going to be bad. And then all of a sudden, it's like they put the turbo boost button on, step it up 1 to 2 notches, and really get it going. This Raider team, dude, I am so impressed with them this season. And I've been watching them because they usually got the 4 o'clock game, and the 4 o'clock slot's not all that big. So I've been watching a lot of their work. I am really impressed with this team. I think they've got a lot going for them. Yeah, their defense does make you scratch your head a little bit, but Khalil Mack, dude, a beast.
I know. Well, you know what? How's Rob Ryan doing over there as far as the defensive coordinator? My God. Buffalo Bills, kid. 38 points they allowed.
Rob Ryan should have been fired. Listen, when they fired the offensive coordinator in week 2, they should have fired Rob Ryan.
Yeah. Well, he was brought in by his brother, and sure enough, the Buffalo Bills are now a 6-6 team, Dream.
You know what's dope is both of them are going to be out of football in a minute, and you won't have to deal with neither one of them no more.
Exactly. So moving on here. So the Raiders get it done, and if it ended today, if the playoffs began today, believe it or not, the Oakland Raiders would be the number 1 seed in the AFC East. Or, I'm sorry, in the AFC overall. So I'm thinking of AFC East because of the Patriots. But
And
they
I got to
actually
tell you,
yeah.
the Patriots do not want to go to Oakland and play that Raider team.
I don't think they're going to have to. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, too.
Because the Raiders have now played pretty much all their home games. They got one left.
Yep.
They got to go on the road 3 out of the last 4 games to
Yep.
the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos.
Yep.
And then they have the Colts at home. None of those games are easy.
None.
None.
Well,
so you know what?
at
You'll
home.
probably be a number 2 seed, to be honest with you. And if
I
that's
think, well, what's the Patriots in record?
the Patriots have, let's see who the Patriots have. Moving on here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm pulling it up. Patriots have the Ravens at home, which they should win. They got to go to the Broncos. They have the Jets at home, and then they got to go to the Miami Dolphins. So it all depends on where they're at seeding-wise for that last game, Dream.
Interesting. Patriots, I do think, need to get home field advantage.
I agree with you.
They
100%.
do need to get home field advantage for the playoffs. I that's the one thing I'm going to say about the Patriots. I am impressed with them. Belichick, Brady, the whole nine. I know. But I think that they do need to have home field advantage.
All right, well, let's talk about 2 teams that will not have home field advantage.
Let's.
And that is the New York Football Giants, who lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dream.
Okay, first of all, before we go crazy
Yep.
about the Giants, all right, I said yesterday when I tweeted out that Pittsburgh had a lot more to play for than the Giants.
Okay.
So the Giants lost yesterday, really for the most part, did nothing, especially because everybody else, the Redskins lost in your division as well. So it didn't really hurt them. Philly lost. So it didn't really hurt the Giants drastically. Second thing is the Steelers needed this game bad to keep their hopes alive, especially with the Ravens winning.
Sure.
Now, Pittsburgh fans, don't start feeling yourself too much because I know you're going to tell me that your defense played okay. And then I'm going to tell you Eli Manning threw three interceptions in the red zone. Giants moved the ball all up and down the field on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So don't get excited about your defense, Steelers fans. Your offense, one of the best offenses in football. Matter of fact, I said that I like their offense more than I like the Cowboys offense. I think, Roethlisberger, Brown and Bell are incredible, no doubt. But this Giant team, man, dude, the interceptions that Eli Manning threw yesterday.
Always throws them.
And, I was talking, Cash Action Bets yesterday, back and forth DMing with him back and forth on it. And I said to him that my issue with the Giants and Eli Manning and this whole Manning thing is when you look at Peyton Manning, one of the great things about Peyton Manning was that Peyton Manning put a stamp on his offense. For the most part, up until when the Broncos brought in Kubiak, Peyton Manning pioneered and blueprinted his offense, and they ran his offense, and he had a stamp on it. It was what was most comfortable for him. It worked how he wanted to execute it, and he was the pioneer of that. Eli Manning, it's like he doesn't have a stamp on his offense.
No.
It's just like he just goes through the motions and kind of does what the team has decided that they want him to do. There's no, I don't see him, and who knows, maybe behind the scenes there is, but when you watch it, you just don't see the management and the execution and the gameplay out of him. Like it's one, you miss his passion because you don't see any passion out of him, and 2, there's just no stamp on the offense from him. It's like, are you comfortable in this? Like I don't understand why he hasn't come out and said, hey, you guys invested this money on me. I've won. Because he's at the point with the Giant organization, I felt, that he could go and say, this is the offense I want to run. These are the coordinators I want to bring in. This is what I want to do. And they should follow his suit, his lead.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you look at him, like you just don't see any of that. And I think there may be some uncomfortable level with him. And dude, I don't know what's wrong with him, but some of these interceptions that he threw yesterday, I mean, he killed this team yesterday with interceptions.
Well, I got to say something, man, that I truly believe that Le'Veon Bell is one of the best backs in the game today.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, the jump cuts, the patience when he's running behind his blockers. I mean, this guy, he'll wait like 5 seconds for a hole to develop. I mean, he's crazy, man. And I mean, it's just amazing how he makes people miss.
Yeah, I mean, Bell's an incredible talent. You know, Roethlisberger, that's a great offense that they've got assembled down there and a great team. But to me, it's more frustrating just watching this giant team turn over the ball in bad spots. And, dude, I don't care what anybody says. Cam Newton is number one for the most annoying player in football, and Odell Beckham Jr. is right behind him.
Absolutely. So
Odell Beckham Jr. is right behind him as just being one of the most annoying guys. Just, dude, go out and play football, man. Just stop already. The complaining, the arguing with the refs. One of the refs apparently told him to get out of his face yesterday. Hats off to whatever ref did that.
Yes. Moving on here, Dream. The Arizona Cardinals get a win and beat the Washington Redskins.
Bad loss by the Redskins. I got pounded with this game.
Yeah.
I thought that the Redskins could win this game. I actually had a money line playing on this game.
Really?
I got blown up with this game. The Redskins, apparently the head coach got in there behind, which he should. The Redskins were on the cusp of winning this game 2 to 3 times and absolutely blew it. Let Carson Palmer get a couple of real deep. The last one just broke their back when he threw to Nelson. I don't know how that ball got in between those two defenders, but this game crushed me because I thought Kissing Cuz was going to have a lot of success against this defense, which he did. Threw the ball all over the place, slung it, but the defense just could not step up and contain Arizona. Bad loss by the Redskins.
All right, and this team is surging a little bit here. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are making their run for first place in their division, Dream. 7-5 team, 5-1 away on the road. Go into the San Diego Chargers, and I keep saying it, got to do something with Rivers in that organization. That's just not a winning pedigree, Dream.
Yeah, they just Rivers is going nowhere. Listen, they love Rivers. I'm with you, man. But they love him. They just gave him more money. Rick Lopez probably just crashed his car if you heard you say that because he loves Rivers too. But they love Rivers here. They gave him a lot of money. And one thing I will say about Rivers, and which we could have the conversation about with a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, other teams, he doesn't have a whole hell of a lot around him. This team, I don't know how they're in sunny San Diego, California, but they're always injury decimated.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, I don't know. I mean, they got banged up this year again with injuries. I don't know what happens there. This Tampa Bay team, though, we talked about them at the beginning of the season. Jameis Winston taking it to the next level. Then we saw him like the first 3 weeks. Everybody's like, okay, well, no, maybe not. He didn't take it to the next level. They're not going anywhere. But all of a sudden, they're getting hot, and they're getting hot right at the right time. They've got a lot of momentum. I still have some issues with their defense. I don't like their defense. I don't know what happened with their defense because Tampa Bay used to be, a defensively sound team. And all of a sudden, their defense has a couple of little small woes and issues. But they're getting momentum and getting hot at the right time. So the NFC needs to be careful and very cognitive of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right. They're tied for first place right now with the Atlanta Falcons, Dream.
I still like the Falcons more.
All right. And the final game was Sunday Night Football, and it was the Seattle Seahawks who laideth the smacketh down on the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton didn't start.
Cam Newton. This team.
He did not start the game.
When you're bad, all right, listen. So when you're a bad team and you're 4-8, you don't not let your starting quarterback not start unless you had enough of him like I have.
Yeah.
But anyway, they tried to let the other guy start because of whatever. They said it was because Cam didn't wear a tie because of dress code.
Yeah.
If you guys want to believe that, okay, cool. I personally don't believe that, but whatever. Cam probably got on Rivera's nerves or something. I don't know what happened, but he had enough of them and decided to let the backup quarterback start with those interception right out of the gate. So that set the theme of where this game was going. If you think that the Seattle Seahawks did not want to beat the Carolina Panthers, just take a look at the score.
Yeah, right.
If you think that the Seahawks don't remember what the Panthers did to them last year in the playoffs, just take a look at the score. If you think they were embarrassed last year in the playoffs, just take a look at the score. And some of the stuff that the Carolina Panthers defense let the Seattle Seahawks do yesterday, there was one play where they flipped the ball to Lockett on like an end around. Dude, he looked like he got shot out of a cannon running down the field.
Got it.
Unbelievable. And I got to be honest with you. At the beginning of the game, I said the Seahawks had no business giving 9 points.
Oh, went up to 9?
It was up to 9 points. I said they had no business giving 9 points.
Oh,
None
maybe
at all.
because Cam wasn't starting. That's probably why.
I don't know what it was, but they had no business giving 9 points. But I guess they did based on that score. The other thing that I found really funny about the Seattle Seahawks game as well, as I'm looking at it and just trying to dissect and figure out. Chris Collinsworth during the game goes, "Oh, be careful for the Seattle Seahawks. They're back." The Seahawks just last week only put up 5 points and lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, good point. Right on.
So, listen, Seahawks, great win. Carolina, to me, stinks. They stunk this year. Been bad all season. Their season's a wrap, even though Hat still thought that they were going to make the playoffs this year. Are you done with that?
I have to be. I have no choice. Because I think they're eliminated at this point. Sucks. Well, whatever.
All right, they're done. And by the way, Seattle, I'm still not on bandwagon with you guys. Listen, I know that you had success against Carolina, but Carolina's defense has been crappy all season long. You just lost to Tampa Bay the week before, so I just don't know what to make of Seattle. We're going to have to keep watching moving forward, but I'm still not impressed with the Seahawks.
Well, they have a losing record on the road, Dream.
Yeah, they do.
They're
they
6-0
always
at
had,
home.
right?
It's always the way it is
Yeah.
with them, and they're going to have to go on the road if, in the playoffs, most likely. So
Marshawn Lynch was on the sidelines yesterday with them. Somebody should have been talking to him about, do you think you could suit up? Even though Thomas Rawls did look very good yesterday.
Got it. All right, Dream. So let's move on here. Let's talk about a little bit of college football here, because we have the college football playoff is set along with all the bowl games.
Pat, before you go there, I just want to make 2 comments. 2 things in football that bother me.
Yes.
All right? Well, I make 3 comments. First of all, I know that you don't like the Sunday night football game.
Yep.
And last night when I was doing the notes for the show, I said, you know what? Hat's always talking about Sunday night football game. I'm going to look something up. And according to Sports Media Watch, Sunday night football has the best ratings out of all the night football games.
Wow.
It beats Monday night and Thursday night. It has the best ratings. So Sunday night football is going nowhere. The other 2 issues I have with football is, 1, I think that they should employ laser technology with the sidelines and the down to distance, and even the end zone. I am so sick of watching. I don't know yesterday, but lately I'm seeing more and more of these, like, 3rd and 1. The guy runs the ball, maybe he shorted it down, and then here comes the ref running in. One ref on one side has the first down. The ref on the other side has them behind the first down.
Right.
They need to come up with a way more accurately to get this down in distance. I don't know what to do. Maybe laser technology. I don't know what else to do about that, but I am just tired of that. And the refs, when they walk in, they come running in with that, like, sideways jog in where they're just looking crazy. They got to do something about that. The other thing is, 2 rules that have always bothered me with football. If you fumble the ball through the end zone, it's a touchback. Did you ever get that rule?
No, I understand it, though.
Why?
Because if you fumble the ball out of the end, it's like a touchback.
But I'm saying, okay, so why?
Well, where would you put? What better way to have that? What better result would you like?
Well, if you fumble the end zone fumble should be the same as any other fumble. If I fumble the ball in the end zone and it goes out of bounds, then the ball's on the 1 yard line. It's still my ball. I don't understand why it should be turned over to the other team and they get it on the 20. I've never been able to understand, what does the end zone have to do with the fumble?
Yeah, okay. I get it. Makes sense.
Okay. And the last other rule, you might like this one. I struggle with it, but it depends. I'll say it depends. That whole, if I run out of bounds or I get out of bounds. Now, if you're over, like, in the damn, in the bench, then yeah, I think okay. But, like, how come I can't catch the ball if I'm running and the defender is kind of guarding me out of bounds and I hit the out of bounds line and I come back in? Why can't I be the first person to touch? Like, what does that have to do with me touching the ball?
Yeah, especially if you're forced out. I understand.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I can't. I've never been able to understand that, but just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you run out of bounds on your own, I understand it. But if you're forced out of bounds, I get it. So, all right, Dream, can I move on?
You can.
All right. Thank you. All right. So we got the college football playoff here. We got the top 4 teams, and we've got this is going to be on the 31st, which is New Year's Eve, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we got 3 o'clock, and then we got 7. We got Washington versus Alabama. Alabama Dream minus 15.5. No total yet. And then you've got the 7 o'clock game, which is Clemson plus 3 versus the Ohio State University. So the way it's shaking out, the way the odds makers see it, is the championship being Alabama versus Ohio State. You know what? We'll talk about this game when it gets forward, when it gets closer and it materializes. But Alabama giving 15.5 to Washington, Dream.
Crazy.
You see it?
Yeah.
I
do see it.
Yeah, I don't think Browning's going to have any success at all in Alabama, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I mean, when we talk about these games, they get such this long layover. However, I think the layover is going to really affect Washington more than it is going to affect Alabama.
Sure, Alabama will be ready.
Yeah, Alabama will be ready, but not only that, Alabama's a defensively sound team. Washington kind of works off of a timing situation offense, and we've seen these offenses when they've had this layover, they come back and they look really, really flat.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised at all if Bama wears Washington out.
Yeah, got it. Especially in the third and fourth quarter.
Especially in the third and fourth
because
quarter.
Because Alabama takes a little while to get going.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I mean?
That little while is going to definitely punch you in the face. So I don't know what Washington could do to feel fresh. I actually like all the teams that are in. I think it's the best.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it was the best scenario. I like Washington being in. It represents all conferences. I think the NCAA got exactly what they wanted, and I have no issues with it.
Do you think that Penn State got the raw deal?
I do not.
You don't?
I don't.
Even though they beat the Ohio State University?
Even though they beat the Ohio State University, I do not.
They do got 2 losses.
Yes.
And they will play USC. I think that's going to be a great game. And you know what, Dream? There's a lot of games on the 2nd of January.
There are a lot of games on the 2nd of January. There are some decent matchups. There are some funny ones. Western Michigan versus Wisconsin hat.
Yes. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Can't wait for what? Wisconsin to beat the brakes off of Western Michigan.
I don't know.
Because I don't see things going well for Western Michigan.
The way they played the other night versus Ohio, man, just kind of got me a little salty, to be honest with you.
I don't know that Western Michigan is going to have any success that game.
We'll have to have the conversation when it moves over.
Will.
All right.
Will.
So anyway, let's get right into it, Dream. Unless you got any other college football before I get into Monday Night Football.
I do not.
All right. So it's time, guys. Let's have a conversation about the NFL. We got a pretty nasty game tonight, Dream.
Not pretty nasty, very nasty. Real nasty.
All right, so we're looking at the Indianapolis Colts going into the New York Jets. And right now, the weather is not all that here on the East Coast. It was snowy and raining this morning. I think it's going to clear up by game time here. But you got the New York Jets, who have one of the worst offenses in all of football. They're scoring 17.8 points per game, facing an Indianapolis Colts team. Is Andrew Luck in the at the helm tonight?
I am checking right now.
Indianapolis is 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games when playing the New York Jets. And Indianapolis in the last 7 games when playing the Jets, the overs come out 5 times. Jets are 2-7 straight up in their last 9 games, and they allow 24 points per game. What's your thoughts on this one, Dream?
Okay, so don't even play it.
No, because I got a spot in the NBA to play.
Go Christmas shopping. Go do something. Don't be bothered with this man. As of right now, on my injury report, I don't have anything on Andrew Luck, so I believe he's going to be a go tonight. And that looks like, Andrew Luck looks like it's a go. So unless they're keeping something away from us or something else is going to come up, Andrew Luck looks like it's a go. The Indianapolis Colts, 406 yards allowed on defense.
Oof.
They allow 290 through the air. So they want to get in a shootout with you, and they want to and they definitely want to try to outscore you because your defense can't not hold you down. They give up 116 on the ground, which is actually a little surprising to me because you would think with the defense being this bad, they would give up more yards on the ground. The Jets, as crazy as this sounds, I like the Jets.
You like the Jets at home, -2.
I like the Jets at home, and I'm going to give you my reasons. Okay, first of all, don't play it. Okay, I'm just if you got a gun to my head, I would take the Jets. And here's my reasons. I think Andrew Luck is going to come back, and I think he's going to be out of sync with his offense a tad bit. I think that the Jets are going to be able to have some effectiveness rushing the quarterback, and they will be able to put some pressure on him. I also feel that the Jets will be able to get Matt Forte in the run game going, a couple of screen passes out the back, and Quincy Enunwa should have a field day against the Colts defense. And Fitzpatrick should be able to effectively throw the ball against the Colts defense in a very nasty game. I also think that the under is probably going to be successful, and I think if you do the Jets and the under, I think you're going to be successful. And no, it has nothing to do with a prime time dog at home.
Well, they're a favorite, Dream.
I got the Colts being favored.
You got the Colts being? Oh yeah, I do. Oh wow, I did not realize that. I thought the Jets would be favored. Oh, that's it. I'm all Jets tonight, baby.
Oh, that's betting now.
Yes. Home team underdog on prime time.
I got nothing to do with that for me. For me,
perfect.
I just feel like Luck being out of the mix. Go ahead.
Perfect. I'm with it. New York Jets.
Here he goes.
Let's get some of the New York Jets tonight.
If you do take the Jets, please buy it to 3.5.
You know, the Jets, for some reason, I mean, I know they give up 24 points, but don't you think that their defense is a little bit better than that?
With A-Rod out there, hat.
Yeah, you got that whole Revis situation. I get it.
A-Rod has fell off. He's not having fun anymore.
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah. I don't know. And it is Andrew Luck still. I mean, he can still sling the ball down the field.
Sure. Exactly. Well, you know what? I might have to jump on that now, Dream.
What are the where do the Colts, where are they at with the standings?
The Colts, I believe, are one game out of first place behind the Houston Texans.
That's the only thing that bothers you.
Yeah, I know. So it's a must-win for them.
It's kind of a must-win for them. But let's go to their hold on, really quick. Let me just check their schedule real quick and see what they got left. They've got left the Texans, who are in their way, so they could beat the Texans next week at home. They got the Vikings, who are only 2 points worse than the Dallas Cowboys, so they're pretty good. They got the Oakland Raiders, that's a loss, and they got the Jags. Interesting in the schedule. Tough game, but I'm still going to give the nods to the Jets.
Okay. And I'm probably with you on that one. So, moving on, I think that's where we're at tonight as far as Monday Night Football is concerned, Dream.
That's where we are, and I know you got one more spot in the NBA.
I got one more spot. I'm going to go right over to the NBA, and we're going to have a conversation about my boy, LeBron James, tonight. Because I think that now that they've lost 3 games in a row, Dream, I think it's time for them to come out and make a statement.
Okay.
I think it's time for them to come out and beat the Toronto Raptors. They're only given a point, Dream. That's it. So I'm with it. That's why
poisoning me tonight. You just poisoned me. You just tried to
no,
make
stay off it
on
because
that
you're the black cat. I don't want you anywhere around.
Oh,
that
no,
game.
Stop it.
I don't want you anywhere around that
guy,
game.
Not the black cat. All right, stop.
You're the black cat. Anytime you mess with my teams,
Stop.
they lose. So you know what? And then I get heckled at halftime.
We have won many a game together. So stop. I mean, most of them have been ones I've given you. I will take credit for that.
Yeah.
We have won many a games together. We have done a lot of celebrating together on the same side of certain games, and we have picked up some spots. And I will say that pretty much with this Cavaliers team, you and I have had a lot of success messing with them.
Especially when they lose a few games in a row.
Especially when they lose a few games. So
that is the time to get involved.
I'm going to work on this tonight. I don't know if I can go. I don't know if I can go there yet, but I'm kind of leaning. I kind of know what you're talking
about. Please don't go there. Please. Let me get this one. Let me get this money by myself tonight. The Toronto Raptors. You've seen the Toronto Raptors. You know what they're capable of offensively. I know.
That's the only reason why I'm kind of down with you, because the Raptors are awful, and we saw how they were able to handle them last year. But
I know.
Something
Exactly.
about the Raptors, though, in regular season in their house and Drake and all that comes with that.
I know Cleveland's 2-4 in the last 6 games when playing in Toronto, and I'm sure they know that.
Dude.
I'm sure they know that. And you know what? We've seen it going back to last year with the Toronto Raptors. Is that they try to beat you up in the paint. They try to be one of the best defensive paint teams overall. And you know what? It's with LeBron just running at you. I mean, he's just drawing fouls left and right here, man. I think he's going to come out, and I think some of the media is going to start getting on him here. I like the Cleveland Cavaliers to win the game tonight. And if they don't,
I would rather wait to get the Cavaliers against the Knicks on Wednesday.
yeah, all right.
But the Knicks have been doing their thing too, so it's tough. Me and you got to do some off the air talk about this Cavs game. So I'll be hitting you up with the text.
I already put the play in.
You already put it in?
It's already done.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I'm
Dude.
all set.
All right.
All right, I put that in this morning.
Then go get it. Hey, that's what's up. Hat's going all out, so he's got the Cleveland Cavs. Wish him the best of luck. I may be on it, but I'm going to have to do a little bit more homework as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if I'm pretty much 80% sure. I'll put it 78%. That I'm
Jets.
not going to. What?
Cavs, Jets, money line parlay, baby.
Pretty sure I'm not going to take the Jets. Don't money line the Jets.
Cavs, Jets, money line parlay. Take
Money
that one
line
to
the
the
Cavs.
bank.
Buy the Jets up to 3.5.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
probably not a bad bet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You gotta
So-
have the 3. I'm sorry, you gotta have the 3.5 with the Jets.
All right, let's get up out of here today, man.
No
What you
doubt.
got?
Want to thank everybody that's retweeted the show. Sir Mata, Marlon, Jason Riley, Shane Whited. We got Kruk out there. C. Rodriguez Jr., Vegas Jack. UnderdogChance.com. Welcome to the party. Bang the books. Money. Welcome to the party. Jeff Ryan, Vegas Girl 92661. Rick Lopez. Once again, congratulations to your son, Chris. Wooch GG is in the house. We also have my boy Cash Action Bets, Winning Picks, Wayne Yarborough. Also, the incredible Marley Marr, Taylor Stevens, Frank Vincolato, Tennessee Titans, JDH24, Sir Mata, Norbert, Jay Snyder, OJFB, MG86, Average Joe Punter, and Deke Spix. And a big shout out to Mr. Charlie over at Direct Sports Solution. Gang, ugly game tonight. I mean, do what you want. Obviously, please keep the finances low. No reason to go ham on anything this evening. We do like the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hat does. I kind of like them too, a little teeny bit. And I think that the Jets have a great opportunity to win. Buy them up though to 3.5. Don't take the 2 by any chance. If you're gonna take the 2, then money line them. But if you don't, if you want to take the 2, buy it up to 3.5. And if you don't want to take the 2, then money line them. That's what I would say. But just don't go with 2. I'm the dream. Always remember who you with. Make the most of each and every day because you cannot get this time back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm going to take the Cavs -1, and I think I'm going to money line that with the Jets, Dream. Yes, because when you do it, it pays plus 310. So that's where I'm going to go today.
Hat, buy the Jets up there.
Guys, we love you to death.
Jets!
Go out there, go easy, do whatever it is you got to do in life to do whatever it is you want to do and get that money. Let's go.